this is a video that I never thought I would film or that I would ever have reason to film. As you can guess by the title of this video, I am going to be discussing why I am no longer wearing my engagement ring and why I am no longer in a relationship. If you are here because you think I am going to tell you the exact story of what has happened and I am going to publicly drag my ex-fiance on YouTube for your pleasure, you can put your tea down. I'm not here to do that. If you thought I was going to do that, rest assured the thought has crossed my mind, but I am not going to. So if that is the sort of video you thought you clicked on, I'm sorry, you can click off. That's not what this is going to be about. I am going to be discussing my feelings about what has happened and explaining why you will no longer see him on any of my social media or anymore on my channel. As of this video going up, I have taken down any video involving him, and on my blog I'm going through the process of deciding whether or not if I want to take my wedding and engagement posts out of the picture. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I want to completely erase it or if I just want to put a footnote on those pages. So that's something that I'm still going to decide. As I said earlier, I'm not going to give out explicit details on here as to what has happened. But if you read between the lines, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. There may be some people who disagree with me doing this video, and they may have very strong feelings about me doing this video. And all I can say to you is I don't care. I don't care if you have strong opinions about what I'm about to say. I don't care if you think this isn't an appropriate way to deal with what has happened. I don't care. And if that's your opinion, you are more than welcome to click off. I am not forcing you to watch this video. You can click off, go about your life. But in the last month, I have not been in control. I was not given the chance to be in control. And I like being in control of my own life. I like knowing what's coming my way so I can deal with it. Not knowing what came my way and being absolutely knocked to the floor made me lose control, and I don't like it. And this is something I can do to regain a little bit of control. So if you can't understand and respect that, you can click off the video right now. This is probably going to be a long video, so I suggest that you grab something to drink or something to eat and listen to what I have to say. 2017 has been a very shitty year for me. It has been very rough and it has not been easy. Nearing 3 months ago, I lost a woman who I counted as my second mother. And I lost her to breast cancer, and it has not been easy. A month ago, I was very happily planning a wedding in Bali for next year. So if you have watched my channel at all, you have probably heard me mention it. I know I talked about it in my 2017 New Year's resolutions. I've done some blog posts on it and I've referenced it here and there. So just over a month ago, I was very ignorantly and happily planning a wedding and looking forward to a future I thought I was working towards. So basically a house, happiness, a baby, a family, the lot, you name it. I thought I was very lucky and I got it all very young, so I was going to be able to enjoy it for however many years I had. But to put it simply, it was all ripped away from me and exploded in my face. I have been hit with a freight train, and the last month, the only word I can use is shattered. I have been shattered. And if you know me personally, or if you have gotten it through the lens or anything like that, you would probably have guessed that I don't shatter very easily. I am normally quite a very strong person. I am a very positive person, and I like to think I'm a very nice person. But in the last month, I have never felt more betrayed, heartbroken, and absolutely gutted that I didn't follow through with my gut feeling. My gut feeling was right. I have never been one to allow someone to pull the wool over my eyes, and I'm usually not very ignorant. I'm pretty much spot on with my instincts, and the one time I pushed them aside was the one time I probably should have listened to them the most. In a month, I have had to reevaluate who I am as a person, and I had to cancel a wedding by myself. And let me tell you, humiliation, you have a new appreciation for the word when you have to cancel a wedding, when you don't want to cancel that wedding. There is nothing like that feeling. Nothing at all. And if you've gone through it, I'm sorry. If you have not gone through it, I pray to any God that you believe in that you never have to go through it. It just sucks. It really does. There was a time in the last month that my self-worth, because of what happened, was pretty much at rock bottom. I started feeling like I must have deserved what happened. I must have put some sort of karma out into the universe and it decided to strike me back like this. I mustn't have tried hard enough. I must have done something wrong. I must be worthless. I must be unlovable for someone to do that to me. And those are very dark feelings when you've never had to deal with them before. I also felt pathetic. I felt like because I must have done something wrong, because I couldn't put together how someone who was supposed to love me could do that to me. I felt pathetic because I felt like I was begging for my future not to be ripped away. I wasn't ready to let it go. I wasn't ready to admit I was one of those people who this had happened to. I wasn't ready to admit that I was going to have a lot of baggage now. And I know I scared people who were very close to me by the way I was talking. I was not eating. I didn't eat a full meal for nearly 2 weeks. I didn't drink much, so I was getting very dehydrated and quite dizzy whenever I moved around. And that wasn't to be a drama queen. It was, I think it was my body's reaction to what was going on. I never felt it before. I had never felt heartbreak before. I had never felt betrayal like that before. And I'd also never felt that kind of humiliation. And I think that was my body's way of shutting down. It didn't want to do anything. The idea of food made me sick. And my body just rejected it. Because I think my body went on hold the minute I found out what had happened and what was happening. My body paused, and so did my mind, because I wanted to rewind about a day and just stay there because I was happy there. So my body was in limbo, and my mind was in limbo, my emotions were in limbo, everything was in limbo. And I'm a planner. I have a plan. I go at that plan with all of my effort. I will do anything I can to achieve those goals. And I had failed before to get my goals, obviously, everyone does. But I had never failed to get a goal I was so close to, or something that I was sure was a sure hit. I was positive that I was heading towards happily ever after, and I just didn't see the freight train heading at me at full speed. And to continue the metaphor, I suppose my gut feeling and my spidey senses were trying to tell me that something was happening and something was coming my way that I wouldn't be prepared for, but I ignored it. And that makes it even harder. I will be honest. That makes it really hard. I also came to the realization that the words I was using to describe myself over the last month, like unlovable, repulsive, disgusting, deserving of it, you name it. You name a negative way to describe yourself, and it has crossed my mind. And it has probably been burned in there. But I came to the realization that that's not who I am, and that's not what I am. That is how this particular person saw me and sought to treat me. But that is not me. I deserve better than that. I deserve a hell of a lot better than that. I deserve respect, loyalty, and love. And that's a very strange thing to come to grasps with when you thought you already had it. I am making this video because I don't need to be ashamed. And I'm not going to be ashamed. I didn't do anything wrong. If what I did was to fight for a relationship that was one-sided, then that's my mistake. And obviously I'm not perfect. I know that. I will freely admit it. But what was done to me had no excuse. I'm not going to slink off and hide. I'm not going to bury my head in the sand and wait for the storm to pass. And I've had a month of blaming myself. I have had quite a long time now of wondering, what did I do wrong? What could I have done to deserve it? And the realization hit me that it didn't matter what I did. It didn't matter what I changed. What happened would have happened anyway. And that is both a blessing and a curse to come to understand, because you always want to think that if you're doing something wrong and if you change it, then the bad thing won't happen. You know, you won't get punished, if that is the appropriate word. I feel like I've been punished, and I know now that I didn't deserve that punishment. I did nothing at all to warrant that to be done to me. And I don't think anybody ever does. Karma is real and can be quite nasty. But there is something that I know will happen, and I know karma has a few people on its lists out of this situation. And I'm not ashamed to say I hope karma's claws are very sharp when it comes back around. For their sake, I hope they're strong enough to handle it. Because in the last month, I haven't just been knocked to the ground. I haven't been knocked on my ass. I've been knocked through 100 flights of stairs and further. And I'm a very strong person, and this nearly broke me. This sort of betrayal and hurt nearly broke me. But my parents raised me better than that. They raised me to be strong, and And I will be. And my family has already had to be strong enough this year. But I am forever grateful that they had the strength to rally around me now. I will never be able to thank them enough for that. And I will never be able to thank the rest of my support network enough for what they have done. My support network has been awesome. I truly don't know what would have happened or how I would have handled things if I didn't have them. So, you know who you are. If you sent me flowers, if you called, if you sent a text, if you came to my house, anything. Or even just to let me know that I was in your thoughts, even if you didn't know the full story. Thank you. Thank you. Now I have a little bit of advice to two groups. If you are going through something similar, or have, or if you have, you've probably already dealt with it. And if you are someone who is trying to help someone get through something very similar. So the first group, if this has ever happened to you, I know I may not know you, I may never know you, I may never meet you, but I am so sorry. This is the kind of pain that you see in TV and movies, or you hear about someone's friend who went through it and how she dealt with it, what she did. This is the sort of pain that you hope to God you never have to go through. And so if you have suffered through something like this sort of betrayal or humiliation or hurt or heartbreak, I am so sorry. And if you are going through it now, it will get better. You may not wake up straight away, the next day, the next month, the next year. It may take longer, but you will wake up one day and you will start to get better. You will start to feel better. I hope you come to realize that if someone did this to you, it speaks more about them and their character than what it does about yours. My other piece of advice is to get yourself a dog or a cat or any kind of animal that you can cuddle, so probably not a goldfish or a fish. I mean, you can try, but I don't know how well that'll go. But some animal that you can love and cuddle, because that really helps. And my little baby that you can see is asleep beside me here, he has been a rock. Because at the end of the day, when your support network goes home or you're by yourself, which is bound to happen, they never leave. They never leave. If you're in that second group and your friend, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your whoever it is, your colleague, whatever in your life is going through something similar, I can't say I can speak from your side too much, but as someone on the other side who you're trying to help, please never give up. And if you feel like what you're saying is falling on deaf ears because maybe that person's just not ready to hear it yet, please don't stop saying it, because the words that you're saying, whether they're encouraging, whether they are making that person feel better, telling them that they didn't deserve it, they're not worthless, or whatever adjectives this person is using to describe themselves. If you keep telling them you're not that, you're not that, you're not that, and you feel like it's falling on deaf ears, please don't give up. Please keep saying it to them, because like what happened with me, my walls were up pretty high, and when people would say that, even though it didn't get through for a long time, it chipped away at what I had done, at the walls I had built around myself. Those sort of positive words slowly but surely chipped away, and they started to come through. And so whoever you're talking to may be in just that very same position where they're not ready to hear it, whether they're going through the stage of if they're blaming themselves or they're blaming someone else or whatever it is, and maybe they're just not ready to hear it, just be there and let them talk. I know I word vomited at a lot of people and they were very patient and let me do it. They didn't question me, they didn't try and cut me off. They just let me have my verbal diarrhea and be done with it. And when I needed to cry, they just handed me the box of tissues. And they just let me get it all out, because it felt like it was some sort of poison that the longer I kept it close to myself, the longer I let it fester, the worse it becomes. And the darker you get, the more hate you have, and the more anger that you let boil up inside you and you don't healthfully let it go, you can go to a very, very dark place. And I was knocking on that doorstep. And that's not to be dramatic, that is just the truth. I was knocking on that doorstep. I was in a very dark space of mind. And it was a space of mind that I've never been to, and I truly hope I never have to go there again. It's not a pleasant place to be. And if you are trying to help that person, just be there for them. Say the words, even if you think they're falling on deaf ears, because eventually they're going to get through. And let them say what they've got to say. Let them do what they have to do. Let them grieve in their own way, because I know people around me didn't know how to help, because I'd never gone through it before. So they didn't know if my behaviour was normal. They didn't know if my behaviour was good for me. They didn't know if I would snap out of it. They didn't know if I needed professional help. They didn't know if I needed to go away for a week, or if I just needed to be left alone. They didn't know, because I have never had my heart completely shattered before. I never have. And even I didn't know what was normal, because I'd never experienced it. I didn't know that, okay, well at this point I'm going to start to feel better and my life's going to pick back up again. I didn't know where that point was. I didn't know what would happen when I reached that point. I didn't know anything like that. And people handle grief in different ways, different forms of grief, different forms of heartbreak, different forms of sadness and humiliation and heart, and all of those sort of emotions and all those negative things. They handle them in very different ways depending on what's happened to them. And if you're in their support network, you've just got to be there to help them pick up the pieces when they're ready. It'll be very slow, and I'm still not 100% me. This video is another step for me to regain me again. I refuse to let this break me. I refuse to let it break my spirit. And I refuse to let it change who I am at my core. And that is why this video is a step to my recovery, because it is my chance to say what I want to say. And I have chosen to build this YouTube channel. I have chosen to build my blog. I chose to have him in it. I chose to have him featured, and now he won't be. And because I refuse to feel ashamed, I refuse to feel embarrassed, I don't see the reason to not explain what's happened in so much as the way I have explained it. As I said again, I'm not here to publicly drag him. I'm just saying what happened. Or at least in code, I guess. I wanted to come on here to explain. I didn't want to slink away, never be heard from again, because I'm proud of my channel. I'm proud of my blog. I'm proud of everything that I've done. I'm proud that just over a month ago, I got a freelancing contract, and I've managed to keep that contract despite what's happened. Despite wanting to curl up in my bed and not face the day, I have done work, and I'm being paid for that work, and I am standing independently, and I am proud of that. And I'm even more proud that I didn't let this break me. It came very close. So I have lost the dreams that I was working towards for 5 years. I have lost the life I thought I was working towards for 5 years. I have lost everything that I was working towards. But I have given myself new dreams. I have given myself new goals. And you can better believe I am going to go after them. So with all that being said, my plan for some of my content is obviously going to have to change, and that's okay. I will figure that out. It does mean obviously I won't do any wedding videos or any more blog posts about the wedding. As I said, I have given myself new goals. I have given myself new dreams to chase down, and one of those things is travel. I have a month and a half ready to go overseas next year. I'm going with my best friends, and I think they just want they just want a trip. But for me, it's going to mean a lot because I have new memories to create in Europe, and Europe is where I was proposed to. It will not be that anymore. I have new memories to create there, and I'm going on a cruise in a couple of months. And I'm giving myself other things to look forward to and other things to plan. And that's it. So in light of all of that, and with my new contracting job, I have decided to reduce the content that I'm putting both on my blog and on my YouTube channel. So I will only do one video a week and one blog post a week. And my monthly competitions will continue as normal. I know I haven't done my May competition, but I'm sure by now you can understand why. I have been a little bit distracted and have not done it. So I will do one at the end of June, and I will pick 2 winners for 2 different prizes. So if you want to be entered into that, you just have to subscribe to my blog. There is a link and everything in the description down below. And I think that's going to be it for this video. I think it's been emotionally draining enough. And I'm not going to say I hope you enjoyed the video, because if you did, you're a bit sadistic. But I am going to say I hope you got something out of this video. Whether you are in my support network and you got my thank you message, or whether you are coming out of something like this, or you are helping someone come out of this, I hope I gave you just encouragement and some sort of helpful tips. If you are doing something that you shouldn't be doing, I hope you realize the damage it can cause. I do normally make happier content than this, and this will be my last video addressing the issue. And as I said, any videos including him will now be privatized and taken off YouTube, and I will sort out what I'm going to do about the blog post that was talking about like our engagement party and any of the wedding details. I will decide what I'm going to do with those, and I'm not sure yet when I'm going to get back to my regular schedule or what days I'm going to do things on. So if you do want to keep up to date with that sort of stuff, I have links to my social media down below that you can go and follow me on, and when I do get back into the swing of things and I get back into a schedule, I will let you know there. And yeah, okay, I think that's it for this video. Thank you.